Greetings everyone. In today's episode of Know Your Alumni, we have with us Mr. Pulkit Garg. He is btech 2015-19 graduate from NIFTEM. He is currently working at Royal Bank of Canada as business system analyst. So sir, I welcome you.
Hi Saloni, thank you very much.
Hi
Thanks
sir,
so
how
much
are you?
for inviting me over. I'm good, thank you. It's almost midnight here, but yeah,
It's
we're
the
making
early,
it work in the timeline.
it's the early morning here. Like for most of us, it's early morning.
I understand what you're saying. But hey, we connected finally, so it's good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. So sir, like, how's your life at Canada, and like, do you miss being in India?
Oh, for sure, 100%. I think every day that is why I have to talk to my parents and my friends. I connect with them every once in a while. Um, Food, there is no second thought about it. I think it really helps here in Canada that you have a big Indian community. But again, end of the day, I always try to take opportunities to talk to people and then go back whenever possible. So yes.
That's nice. So like when you were in NIFTEM, like in India, so what were your memories and experience as a student in NIFTEM?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's, as they say, an unparalleled experience that I had in NIFTEM. So from the day when we were looking at different universities, I was not even in NIFTEM at that time, just gave my JE mains and I was looking at different colleges. So my dad told me about the village adoption program and how he came to know about NIFTEM. So everybody, as I say, has a unique way of knowing about NIFTEM. It's not generally through advertisements or something. So that's how I got to know about my experience. The first day I remember walking in, and I was fascinated just looking at the college, the library, everything was spotless, right? And we had the fountains going on. We met with Professor Dr. Ajit Kumar sir and everybody, and some of our alumni as well. So it gave a very good vibe. We went to the hostel, and then also the living arrangements were also amazing. So yeah, that is the day my journey technically started. I started connecting with some friends also in there as well. But then, yeah, I think apart from academics, which was very heavy, I think from time to time, it's like a very well-rounded experience in NIFTEM. So even being a new university, you get experience of, say, we had all these cultural events. It started from the freshers, and then, that's where seniors and juniors start bonding. And then, eventually the village adoption program, where we actually used to, become groups of 10, 15 and go to various parts in India. Right, there was all our labs and industrial visits and industrial internships. So there's lots of like great memories. I would say like any alumni of NIFTEM. Lots of great stuff has happened. Yeah, and then it all ended with the farewell in the final year. So that's like the so-called, ending point. Yeah, it was a great experience. Thank you.
Yeah. So like during your NIFTEM college days, like. So when was the point you decided like you want to go pursue the masters and that too in sustainability, or like going out of India? Like,
Right. No, good question, Saloni. So actually, I think I was always focused of going for a master's and not ending my studies at a bachelor's. And one of the reasons was my dad. He also went for his master's in the UK back in the 80s. He was always inspiring me to, study more and just not stop at a bachelor's level, because he said that, you can always go for a job after a master's as well. You always have that option open. So that is when I thought, so I was always focused that I want to go for I did not decide sustainability at that point. At that point, it was just maybe specializing in food science or some domain, right? Something in, so that is where I always knew I wanted to go for a master's. At that point, it was food science. I didn't know there were other domains that exist. And in the third year, after the third year, in the fourth year, when we have to do a 6-month internship, 4-month internship. So that is when I was staying at home with my parents, but, there was a food processing firm known as Mary Foods in Allahabad. So it's a small scale industry, but, they supply portion packs of pickles and jams to different airlines. And they didn't want me to work on the quality and safety of food. They wanted me to work on how, at a macro level in their factory, how can we actually reduce energy consumption? How can we think about, carbon footprint estimation and reduction for that, right? Even like a higher concept of ecological footprint. So I started getting exposed in the area of sustainability as well. And that actually internship gave me a good project background, what one needs to get into a master's. So I thought okay, food science is there, but that area started interesting me even more. And especially when you look at climate change and food production and how closely they are linked. So that was the reason why I want, like, so masters in sustainability, that's how they came together. And Canada came into the picture when I went for my foreign exchange or student exchange program with Aishwarya, Aditi, and Professor Neela. So we all went there in Canada 2018. So that is why I thought, because Canada has like good immigration policies, student-friendly country in that sense. So that's how Canada. So Canada masters and sustainability. That's how they all came together.
Yeah, that's great. Like foreign exchange program was like a really good thing for like NIFTEM, but like due to COVID-19, we didn't get to experience that. So like really missing out something.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And you know, for our cohort, just like a side fact, for our cohort, we had only 3 students, no, 3 in each year who were a part of that. So 9 students from our cohort or our batch of 2015-19 actually got the opportunity, right? I think now it has become that only after the 3rd year, only 3 students, or like that's what I thought. There's maybe a rule that changed. Anyway, so yeah, it's a great experience. One should try for that. Otherwise, one should try for internships if you really want to go. I've seen like some of our seniors actually they went for internships outside of. They were in the so when you have to try for your 4th year, 6-month internship, so you can do some good projects in NIFTEM and try to build like email professors who are actually in Canada, US, Europe, Australia. You can email them that, hey, I'm interested in an internship if you have a position available. And sometimes you might get an opportunity for they'll pay you for 4 to 6 months. So it's a paid internship. And then, yeah, if you're really interested in going abroad or going for research abroad, why not? Right? Like, why you think of Nestle R&D, you think of Mondelez R&D, you can also think of just going outside and doing your 6-month research, right? Sorry, 6-month internship, right?
So like you said, like you need a project, like as you mentioned, like project was necessary for the masters. So like if someone is preparing now, like being in 2nd year, a student or 3rd year, like what is the right time to start the preparations, and like what all preparations are needed for a student? So like can you tell us about that?
Sure. Yeah, 100%. I think I'll talk for the context of any master's program, right? And like not only food sciences, because they are almost similar in that aspect. I think business programs, like if an MBA, I think they require work experience in most cases. So if you're just thinking about MS or masters, I'll just talk about that for now. So in an MS program or a master's program, first thing is, like, if you're going for a research-based program, you'll get a funding package. You can get a funding, you can get scholarships. And I remember I know like many of the students from my batch, they got like good scholarships, right? Neeraj got it, Joy, Sareen, I think Rahul. So many students got good scholarship funding because they're doing research-based programs. Then there are course-based programs as well, and that you don't get funding. So first you need to think of whether I want to go for a research-based program or a course-based program. Right? Both have good job options. One is research heavy a little bit. One is more focused towards industry and projects, right? So there's 2. But one of them will not have the funding, only the research one. Okay. So depending on what you want to do, you'll decide that in NIFTEM, say you are in your 2nd year, 3rd year, you'll start getting exposed to more subjects in food technology, right? And then you'll start learning more about biotechnology, microbiology. So don't just stop at the subject, just don't like complete the course and forget about it. Start thinking that what is something you can maybe go beyond. So for example, you just complete a microbiology study. Now, sometimes there are PhD scholars at NIFTEM, and I've seen a lot of our students also get in touch with them, and they can help you with a project, right? So they can be the lead, you can just help them, but you'll learn more about, say, how are they using that concept for yogurt, because they are doing their research, our PhD students, right? So you can contribute, and sometimes some students also get their name in a research paper that way, because you were also a part of the team. So you're volunteering your time. You're not just going from 9 to 5, right? So you're sometimes going beyond 5 o'clock, or sometimes when you don't have a class, you go to the lab there and you're learning, you're contributing, preparing samples. So that's how you get your name in a research paper as well. So if you do this by the 3rd year, you'll have some good projects in your name. You'll learn, and it doesn't have to be in microbiology. It can be in milk processing. It can be in cereal processing, whatever interests you, right? End of the day, you're just a bachelor student right now. So one thing is your good projects. then you this again by the third year. By the third year, hopefully you should have a good GPA as well. It doesn't have to be 9 or 9.5, but say 8, 7.5 and above,
Okay.
8 and above. That 8 and above would really help, I think, for most universities, because that translates to 80%, right? So I think that will help. You should have, I think, a good GRE and TOEFL score, or TOEFL can be replaced by IELTS as this, or like any English language exam. One of them will be that. That's valid for 2 years. So you can just take them in your third year as well. You don't have to wait till the last year. And for your GRE, again, it's not mandatory for most universities, but it's a good, I would say, thing to have as your score, because it helps to set your profile apart from sometimes other candidates. So most of these are the things you need to do by third year. Have your good project study. In the fourth year, you start applying. Be sure, mindful of the timelines. So most universities, just to give you a very quick context, they have like 1 year in advance is when they start opening their applications. So September, say 2022, if anybody wants to go and study their master's, applications already opened in September 2021, right? And then you start applying, and then you also email the professors to say, hey, I'm interested to work under your supervision. Would you accept me as a student? Here's my profile. Here's the research papers I've worked on. So you just kind of build that connection. And then your chances of admissions also go higher. So I think that's at a high level that you need. Yeah.
So it's like if someone wants to like go directly after fourth year abroad for the study, so you need to start preparation from the second year onwards. Like it's not like in third year you'll start the preparations and you'll get up.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it in the third year as well. I think it's not a problem, but maybe from second, if you're really focused to go, right? So why not just start going to the labs and observing things early on, because it will help you to feel more involved in what. So by the time you're in the third year, because you also have to prepare for your GRE, GMAT, forever, or your English language test, you're already doing all these subjects. You're looking for an internship also, right? So you're doing a lot of different. For example, GRE is valid for 5 years. If you're really, you can give it in the second year itself, right? Why not? Because it's valid for 5 years. So yeah, I think the earlier the better. That's it.
Yeah, that was like really informative. So sir, like after your masters, like how did you end up in like Royal Bank of Canada? Like you did your masters also from a food background, and like being a business system analyst, that's like total switch in the domain. So like how that shift happened?
Yeah, 100% again. I think I'm one of those candidates who are made fun of by Rancho in Three Idiots. Like he did his engineering and then he did his MBA and now he's working in a bank, right? So it's kind of like that. But I think there's a very key thinking that goes beyond all these career. When you take these career decisions, it's like the kind of skills you need are very transferable for jobs, most of them, unless you're working in a highly technical position. So what I realized when I was in my master's is that why do I limit myself only to sustainability-based jobs or positions when the job market out there is wide open and they are ready to accept candidates with a non-banking, non-financial, non-IT background? They are ready to train them and teach them. So then I started also looking beyond that, right? I started looking at jobs in project management, business analysis, right? Even on the IT side of things, because the kind of qualifications that they wanted were very straightforward. One should have good problem solving, communication skill, collaboration, because I'm at an entry level right now. So they can train you. That's what they say. We'll train you. We just need somebody who has an open mind to get trained. So that is what I think I always kept that. Yeah, I'm open to go into other areas as well, not only in sustainability. So I think that's how I started applying to all of these. And then I got an internship, which they call a co-op here. So as part of my master's, I had to do one internship. So I did that at RBC as a project manager co-op student. And then from there, you go in, you build a good network. And I started looking for different full-time positions. And then I got as a IT in IT business analysis. Yeah.
So like, what's your current role? Like, can you please like explain what is the role of a system analyst?
Sure, business systems analyst. Yeah, I'll explain that. So my role, how do I simplify it? I would say that, RBC, for example, has a business side of things, and then there's the IT side where I work, right? Or my team is. So the thing is, our BC's clients need a new credit card or a new website, let's say, or a new communication mobile app, something that alerts them as soon as their balance goes below $200, right? So that's the need of the client. We have the business team, which is actually making the money for the bank. Okay. So they are the ones who are actually, generating revenue from the clients. So end of the day, it's all the money of our clients who are in Canada, right? End of the day, it's all their money. But the business side is technically the custodian of the money, right? They decide how to use best to increase the revenue. So what they'll do is they'll come into our team our team, and they'll say, you know what, I am looking for a mobile application which can deliver alerts to clients when the balance goes below $200. They're looking for something like that. They're looking for an online bank, like they're looking for an alumni portal, like we are looking, like they can be anything, right? Any software system. So I work on different kinds of systems. What my role is as a business system analyst is to gather these system requirements or functional requirements. What do they actually need? So we go into these different discussions with them. So, how do you want your mobile application to be? Do you need it in the App Store, or do you need it in like the Google Play Store as well, right? What is the kind of integrations you need? Where do you need your data from, right? Like what's the color you need of the application, right? So they only have a high level plan in mind. They just want an application which can send this notification. My job is to dive deep into the discussions with them and to deliver requirement documents too. And then I give it to the software developers, and they are the ones who code it. I don't have to code it. My job is I'm somebody in between, a conduit between the business side, people who actually have the money, and then the coders or the testing team people who are actually working on the deep code side of things. So I'm somewhere in the middle. So it's a very rewarding role, I would say, as an entry level person, because you're learning both about the business and the IT side, both sides. That's it.
So like your 6 years of studying food tech, is there of any help in this job, or like you have to like start from scratch on learning part?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think, in terms of a subject knowledge, I would say no, right? I'm not dealing anything with any food concept or knowledge equation. I'm not doing anything like that right now. Yeah. No food, no microbiology, no biotech, nothing. Okay. But again, as I said, it's a world where we are having there are a lot of jobs which encourage transferable skills. So end of the day, when we are at NIFTEM, right? You're building, say, a skill like relationship building that you're learning, say, when you're organizing events like EDCA, or you're just like in CD, or like, for example, even this interview, you're developing collaboration and all these different skills. Now, the context will change. Say 5 years from now, Saloni, you come here and work at RBC, your context will change. Like, you'll not be dealing with alumni or food technology people. Now you'll be dealing with banking people. But again, the skills required are almost the same, as they say, transferable skill set. You'll just take it and develop. So I think all the great experience that we get, right? So you go into a village and a village adoption, but you don't know anybody there. You and they also don't know you, and they don't trust you as well. So you slowly, take on those efforts to make sure that, they understand why we are here from NIFTEM, how you want to develop, their village, something in their town, right? So I think that power of convincing people, building trust and relationships with them, solving their problems. I think this is something we were doing it in a context of a village. Now we'll be doing it in a bank. I think that's how I can build those I build that parallel in my mind. Yeah, but not subject knowledge. Yes, not at all. I'm not using anything related to the subject.
So, like, what were the challenges you face throughout your journey, and like an advice you could give to the NIFTEMites?
Sure. So I'll first start with the challenges. So I would say that one thing I have faced is that when I was in NIFTEM, we didn't have any platform like this to connect us with alumni, and an alumni base was and is still a little smaller because we are a new institution. So we sometimes don't get that advantage of like an IIT. They have like big groups, and they can, alumni are at really good positions in the industry. They're actually leading the industry, right? Yeah. So that helps to build a good brand for them, and they can actually see, okay, 20 years down the line, I can become somebody like him. We don't have such people right now. We are building that. It will take few years.
Working on it.
And it will be, right, exactly. It will be people like us who will actually be, the shining, North Star for our junior colleagues, right?
Yes.
So that's the first thing I faced, was a little bit of challenge on that. Everything was very new to me. And I think anybody who's going from NIFTEM, any area you're picking, it's actually a new path we are all taking, right? And discovering. So that was one. And then I would say the second would be a little bit around the time management pieces. So I'm still trying to balance it or perfect it, but find it hard. Like it's like as I say, like a teeter-totter, like a seesaw. So it's like one thing, if you are focusing good on your academics, like maybe your personal relationships, health, like you're not able to go to the gym, or something goes down. Maintaining that balance between an ideal relationship between your studies and your family time and your health, and you're going to the gym and cooking food, so maintaining all of that at the same plane, I think that is what I find, and I've found it challenging in NIFTEM as well, right? And even to this that I do sometimes. So that's the pieces on the challenge. And on the advice piece, I would say that to be honest, I felt until now everything is so temporary in nature. Like nothing will stick to you as such, right? So even if you're at NIFTEM, you don't like, there have been courses I've not liked. There have been, some professors I felt that, I am not able to understand a thing in their class in some cases, or some classes have been very hard. But see, end of the day, it's all temporary, right? We don't, we always move beyond that. You just don't have to feel disheartened that I don't even like this degree. Even if you don't like the whole degree program at NIFTEM, that's fine too, because you have like 60, 50 years ahead of you to think of doing something else and something else, right? So one thing I would say, that don't get disheartened by, which stage of life you are in right now. It's all temporary. You'll just move to something else in the future. Okay. And the second thing I would say, that, have a definitive focus in life, like be disciplined and have a good focus, and try to focus on one thing at a time. Don't multitask between careers. So every career path that you'll choose has its own great advantages, but also has its own minuses. So if you come to study in Canada, again, not ideal, right? It's cold. It's, again, sometimes it's expensive. You're staying away from family. You can't visit them as often. Like, say, in a couple of days, it will be Holi. So I'll have to find somebody here, like, or some local Hindu Samaj is there. But again, it's not like staying at home with parents, right? So again, every career has its own, advantages and disadvantages. So don't try to jump between them. Like, try to stay focused at one. Spend 2-3 months, 6 months. If you don't like it, then move to the next. Right? Don't get locally influenced by a peer group. Like, somebody's studying IAS, so I'll want to go to IAS, and then somebody is doing MBA, so I'll do MBA. You were focusing on CAT, then somebody said GMAT is good, so you went to GMAT. So don't do like that. Try to stay focused at one career path. And then if you don't feel that it's working for you, 6 months, 1 year, 3 months, whatever time you decide, then you try. If you don't get success, then move to the next one. See, okay, maybe GMAT was not for me. Let me go to CAT. GRE was not for me. Let me look for GATE. Something like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's that's what I would like to say, Saloni.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for your time, giving us your time. And it was like a really informative session. Hope our viewers will like it and get knowledge from that. So thank you, sir.
Sure, Saloni. It was great for me as well to share my experience. Thank you.
Thank you.